Takaru is an incompetent bum who leads the most worthless team in his academy. However, his story changes when the strongest student joins his squad and helps him unlock his dormant powers, making him overpowered, so he can crack both her and his enemies. The story begins at the Anti-Magic Academy, with Takaru strolling through the hallway and thinking about how pathetic he is to be the captain of the worst squad in the academy. Even so, he knows he needs to graduate as an inquisitor who hunts criminals and witches so that he can clear his late parents' bad debt. Before long, he arrives at his platoon office to find his subordinates, Usagi and Ikaruga, taking thirst trap photos for OnlyFans, and Usagi smacks him for walking in without knocking. Meanwhile, the academy chairman, Sugetsu, is in his office, scolding a red-headed inquisitor named Okyu for breaking the rules and murdering a witch on a mission. As punishment, he demotes her back to being a student and forces her to join the worst anti-magic platoon in the academy. Moments later, Usagi and Takaru argue because their platoon has 0 academy credits, but Ikaruga suggests that they earn bonus credit by busting an illegal magical item trade that will happen that night. Just then, Sugetsu barges in, acting like Discount James Charles, and introduces Oka as their newest member. Seeing her, Usagi immediately recognizes Oka as the infamous prodigy who became an inquisitor in less than 2 years because they used to be classmates. After Sugetsu leaves, Takaru nervously asks Ochu if she remembers him, but she coldly tells him no. By nightfall, the team embarks on Ikaruga's mission, with Ikaruga staying behind to monitor them, and Usagi on sniper duty. The moment Usagi locates their primary targets, she relays it to Takaru and Okyu, so they sneak further into the building to ambush the criminals. At the entrance, Takaru knocks out the guard with Oka's help, and orders Usagi to shoot the targets through the window, which she does. However, when he barges into the room to arrest the survivors, he realizes they're all alive, because stupid Usagi shot the criminals in the wrong room. Seeing him, the scumbags mock him for wielding a katana in Big 2026, leaving Takaru super pissed. Ikaruga immediately begs Takaru to take it easy, but then one of the men shoots him, so he activates his ultra instinct and slices the bullet like Deadpool. Shock, the men fire 2 more shots at him, but Takaru deflects them again and swears to slice them into human shish kebab. Just then, Ikaruga speaks to him in his sister's voice, which instantly calms him down, so he continues, begging them to spare him. Suddenly, the lights go out, Oka swoops in, skillfully dodges the criminals' attacks, and knocks them all out, leaving Takaru shocked. She then turns to the last guy and orders him to surrender, but the spineless coward summons a giant magic mecha, pilots it, and sprays the entire room with bullets. Takaru immediately rushes to hide, but Osha skillfully dodges all the shots like clockwork, while shooting the machine's weak points and manages to stop it. Afterwards, Takaru rushes to check on her, but he trips on the way and grabs Ocho's right chest pillow. Embarrassed, Ocho kicks him in the nutsack to get him off her. In the struggle, Usagi finally shoots into the right building, only for the bullet to ricochet and knock Takaru out. Weeks later, Usagi crashes out at Ocho for doing her missions alone after their first mission, but Oka tells her she can't risk trusting them because they're all pathetic losers who suck at their jobs. After she leaves, Takaru admits she's right and cooks up a plan to make her feel more welcome to the team. Later that evening, he arranges a surprise party for Okyu, but when she sees this, she trash talks them for joking around during school hours. As she leaves, Takaru spots a wound on her right arm, so out of concern, he follows her outside and demands to know how she got it. Pissed, Oka tells him not to bother her, but Takaru reminds her that he's her captain nonetheless, and convinces her to take him on her next mission. That night, the duo infiltrates the slaughterhouse of a mysterious crime syndicate named Valhalla, and takes down several guards to rescue some hostages, only to find them grotesquely chopped up and stuffed into trash bins. Seeing this, Oka breaks down in tears and rushes back outside to slaughter the guards they restrained earlier. But Takaru stops her, warning that she'll lose her Inquisitor license if she murders someone again. However, Ochiyu says she doesn't care because a witch murdered her entire family, which is why she hates them so much and will destroy all of them to get revenge. As she tries shooting again, Takaru pushes her away and swears that he won't give up trying to be her teammate. The next day, Sugetsu meets with Aka in his office and praises Takaru's squad, hoping she'll finally acknowledge their abilities. When that doesn't work, he tells her that one of the squad members is a Relic Eater candidate. Although this shocks Oka, she eventually concludes that Sugetsu is just hyping up those idiots and turns to leave. Afterward, Sugetsu notices a Relic Eater named Lapis standing by his window and wishes that she will soon form a contract with someone. By nightfall, a witch named Mari meets with a necromancer working for Valhalla, called Haunted in his lair to deliver a magical item. When she notices his blood-stained shirt, she asks how many people he's murdered so far, and he tells her he just murdered 50 criminals. Pissed, she wishes to eliminate him right there if their bosses at Valhalla would let her get away with it. But Haunted assures her that he's just working towards defeating their common enemy, the Inquisitors. The next day, while showing off her terrible shooting, Usagi explains to Takeru that she only fumbled their last mission because she was overly nervous. Just then, Oka walks into the office, and Takeru nervously invites her to join them for lunch. Irritated, Oka refuses and starts trash-talking him for trying to become an Inquisitor just to get the bag. At that moment, Ikaruga calmly calls her out for acting holier-than-thou when she herself was just stripped of her rank as an Inquisitor for being a mindless murderer who slaughters every criminal she comes across, causing Oka to storm out. Later on, Haunted gets on a skyscraper rooftop in the city and complains about the overwhelming peace plaguing the world. He then summons an ancient monster and instructs it to cause chaos. Meanwhile, Takeru finds Oka visiting her family's graves and asks her what happened. In response, she narrates how the witch slaughtered them, adds that she's long abandoned her humanity and made it her life's mission to exterminate witches, then asks Takeru if he can do that. As Takeru is about to respond, an explosion happens in the city, and Haunted, who's still on the rooftop, instructs his ancient monster to infiltrate the Anti-Magic Academy's restricted zone to rescue the witches trapped there. Soon after, Oka arrives on the battle scene and finds out from a frontline soldier that an Einherjar has appeared. Meanwhile, Takeru takes down a few ghouls as he tracks Oka down. But on his way, he runs into Lapis for a second, only for her to disappear right after. Just then, Ikaruga patches him through to an emergency broadcast from Sujetsu himself, announcing that the ancient summoned warrior, or Einherjar, is approaching the Academy's restricted zone. Due to their lack of manpower, Sujetsu asks the students to help fight the monster and ends the broadcast. Afterward, Ikaruga asks Takeru if they're going to run away or fight. Although Takeru advises that running away might be best, he decides to fight the Einherjar to help calm the hatred in Oka's hatred. Meanwhile, Oka catches up to the Einherjar and fires 2 shots at it, but the monster retaliates with an attack that throws her off balance and slashes her thigh. Unfazed, she keeps firing several shots at it and dodging its strikes, but eventually, the Einherjar throws her against a fountain. Desperate, Oka summons her Relic Eater magic gun, Vlad, to assist her and orders him to heal her leg wound. Once it does, she works with Vlad to unlock the first trigger of her gun and fires a few heavy shots at the Einherjar's armor. When nothing happens, Vlad tells her that the monster's scabbard is healing it automatically, and advises they destroy it first with hallmark magic, so that the monster will be vulnerable. To do this, Oka combines both guns into one and offers Vlad her blood. After doing that, she stabs the Einherjar's body with several spikes, which destroys the scabbard. Sadly, as she's about to continue attacking, Vlad abandons her like your dad did when he left to get milk. And the Einherjar slams her into the wall. Thankfully, before it finishes her, Takeru shows up and pushes it away. Oku immediately tells him to leave, but Takeru decides to play Captain Save-A-Ho and charges at the Einherjar. He dodges the Einherjar's strike with his Ultra Instinct and tries cutting the armor at first. However, when he fails, Ikaruga radios in and tells him that the Einherjar's weapon is a railgun that needs to cool off between shots, meaning his best opening to close the gap is right after it shoots. Once that happens, Takeru closes in and strikes the monster. Then he has Usagi snipe it to throw it off balance. However, as he tries to finish it off, the Einherjar unleashes hallmark magic and blows Takeru's body into smithereens. As Takeru slowly dies, Lapis suddenly appears, takes his soul into an alternate floating dimension, and tells him he's been chosen as her second contractor. However, before completing the ritual, she asks Takeru if he's willing to abandon his humanity to defeat the enemy, and he confirms that he is. Satisfied, she hands him a sword, revives his body, engulfs it in invincible armor, and transforms him into Iron Man from Temu before sending him back to the real world. There, she introduces herself as an entity from the Relic Eater series that can only be used by Inquisitors, recognizes Takeru as her new owner, and urges him to get his head out of the clouds and fight. As the Einherjar closes in on him, Takeru lunges at it and exchanges a few clashes with it. Afterwards, the Einherjar prepares to unleash hallmark magic again, but this time, Lapis tells Takeru to stand firm with the trigger on his weapon pulled, and Takeru obliges, prompting her to activate the weapon's hallmark magic. Once the Einher jar fires another plasma beam, the weapon absorbs the entire attack. After it stops, Takaru lunges at the Einher jar and destroys it with a single strike using his hallmark magic. In the aftermath, Takaru sits with Oka beneath a tree and asks her to let him share half of her burden of revenge to lighten her load. Touched, Oka asks if it's really okay for her to do that, but Takaru reassures her that he's willing to help her before falling asleep on her lap, leaving her deeply moved. Elsewhere, Mari is cornered and arrested by the Academy's inquisitors. A few days later, Sujetsu meets with a superior witch hunter named Kurogane in the Academy's restricted zone and learns that Mori's memory has been magically erased to prevent anyone from getting information out of her. Since she's a highly wanted witch, Sujetsu knows he can't release or murder her. So when he gets to her holding cell, he welcomes her to the Academy. The next morning, Sujetsu meets with Takaru's platoon, introduces Lapis to Takaru as a very powerful sword relic eater, and places her in his care. After that, he commends them for subjugating the Einher jar earlier and decides to reward them with a special mission. He then calls Mari into the room, explains that the Academy is trying to implement a new system that allows witches to enroll and join the Inquisition, and assigns them to guard her while keeping her identity a secret, leaving them all shocked. After the meeting, Mari tells Takaru and his people to let her be, since she has a trackable collar on. But Takaru warns her that it'll explode as she tries to use magic, and asks the others what they should do with her. While Usagi and Ikaruga suggest they let her be, Oka reminds them of their mission and warns Mari to inform them whenever she plans to do something. Irritated, Mari asks OCU if she'll also need to ask for permission to walk, but instead of responding, OCU gets super pissed at her, and before they know it, they start bickering like spoiled iPad toddlers. Takaru does his best to stop them from shouting, but in the end, Mari storms off in anger, wondering where it all went wrong. Later on, Ochu and Mari compete with each other at shooting practice. When Ochu wins, they move on to the long jump, where she wins again, leaving Mari pissed. Later, during a history lesson, Mari earns a point by answering a difficult question that Aka couldn't, which pisses Aka off. During lunch, Mari buys the last bean bun just as Oku is about to grab it and rage baits her for missing the question in class. In retaliation, Oka mocks Mari's crooked legs for fumbling the long jump, kickstarting yet another loud argument between them. When Takaru tries to stop them, they both punch him at the same time before finally calming down. Moments later, Mari offers Takaru a cold drink to nurse his swollen cheek. Touched, Takaru thanks her and apologizes on Oka's behalf, but Mari reminds him that she's their enemy and that Oka was just reacting normally. Hearing this, Takaru assures her that her being a witch doesn't mean she's their enemy, but Mari calls him stupid for trusting people too easily and promises to murder him in his sleep. Unfazed, Takaru asks her why she wants to be an inquisitor, and she says it's because she wants to show the world that not all magic is dangerous. Hearing this, Takaru praises her for being so noble, prompting her to call him a weirdo. As he turns to leave, Mari asks for his name and proposes that they call each other by their first names, which Takaru agrees to. Meanwhile, Haunted chills on another rooftop, remembering the night Mari was arrested. Apparently, she was interrogating him for breaking their agreement and capturing innocent people as his test subjects when the Inquisitors suddenly cornered them. While Mari tried to save the hostages, Haunted trapped them in a magic circle, slaughtered them, and escaped, leaving poor Mari behind with an instant forgetfulness spell. Now that she's been captured, his relic eater, Nak, condemns him for not blowing her up that night, but Haunted says he still needed to torment Mari psychologically to satisfy his sick, twisted desires and promises to rescue her soon. Back in the platoon office, Takaru gets fed up with Mari and Oku's constant bickering, so he separates them and tries to pacify both of them. As Oku notices him calling Mari by her first name, she demands an explanation, but Mari latches herself to Takaru's arm, causing Oku to spiral off in anger. Just then, Usagi shuts them up and shows them the fixtures of the Academy's fall mock battle tournament coming up soon. Later on, while Takaru checks the fixtures on the notice board, a bully named Kiwaya shows up with his partner and asks Takaru if his squad will participate in the tournament. When Takaru confirms that they are, Kiwaya appreciates his steel balls for thinking they can win and swears to defeat him when they meet in the tournament. Later that evening, Takaru finds Mari outside the school, learns that she'll be staying at his place, and freezes in shock. Suddenly, Oku shows up, grabs Mari by the head, and accuses her of trying to seduce Takaru, prompting yet another argument. On the way to Takaru's apartment, Ocha explains that Sujetsu suggested Mari stay with Takaru because there was no room in the girls' dorms or at Ikaruga's and Usagi's places, and promises to live with him as his bodyguard so Mari doesn't attack him. Before long, they arrive at Takeru's matchbox apartment, and Mari is horrified because it looks like a haunted meth lab from Breaking Bad, but he takes her and Ochu in anyway. At the door's entrance, Takeru gives Oka and Mari his key and storms off to catch a break, totally unaware that the Academy's Inquisitors are nearby, waiting for Mari's former colleagues at Valhalla to come for her. An hour later, Takeru returns with dinner and spots flat-chested Mari drying herself, her melons and cookie out for all to see. He immediately freaks out, but as Mari nervously asks him to stop staring at her insecurities, Oka barges out of the bathroom screaming and grabs Mari aggressively, causing them to accidentally fall on and bury Takeru beneath their chest cushions. A few weeks later, the mock battle tournament begins, and Takeru's squad faces a stronger team. After taking down 2 of their commandos, Takeru switches positions and asks Usagi if she can snipe the enemy. But Usagi says she's stuck. Since Okio is also pinched, Takeru asks Mari if she'll help them out, but she refuses, leaving Takeru at an impasse. When the enemy sniper starts trolling, he gets pissed and decides to act as a decoy so that Oka can take out 2 more commandos. With that settled, he comes out of hiding and trash talks the enemy, only to get his butt whooped. Feeling sorry for them, Mari rethinks her decision, steps into the battle, and successfully distracts the enemy. Seizing the opportunity, Oka, Takeru, and Usagi quickly take out the last 2 enemy vanguards and secure the win. That evening, while Ikaruga fondles Usagi's melons to celebrate, Takeru names Mari the MVP of the match and asks Oka for her thoughts. Embarrassed, Oka thanks Mari for her contribution, but when Mari refuses to acknowledge her, Ikaruga accuses her of being a tsundere and trash talks her barren chest. Later that evening, Ochiyu visits Sujetsu's office to submit a report, only to learn that he's absent. Curious, she checks Mari's report on his table and recoils in shock when she finds out that Mari was once wanted for murder. Meanwhile, at the school's evening carnival, Mari notices Usagi and Ikaruga playing like sisters and asks Takeru how they became so close. Takeru explains that they used to be worse enemies, and hopes that she and Oko can be close like that one day. When Mari doubts that, Takeru reminds her that she's still human, regardless of being a witch, and encourages her to stop isolating herself from them. Mari admits she's afraid to mingle because she barely remembers her past, and the little she can remember makes her think she was once a terrible person. Feeling sorry for her, Takeru swears to always accept her, whoever she is, and this touches Mari so much that she drags him to play. By day 2 of the tournament, Oka arrives late and drags Takeru somewhere to tell him about Mari. Meanwhile, Sujetsu visits Kurogane in his office and learns that Oka has discovered the truth about Mari's arrest. Unfazed, Sujetsu ignores that and asks Kurogane if Valhalla's agents will show up to rescue Mari, but Kurogane says they're not sure. Moments later, as the mock battle between Takeru and Kiwai's squad begins, Oka thinks back to the moment she told Takeru everything and slowly wonders if there's more to Mari she hasn't discovered yet. Just then, one of Kiwia's partners, Yoshi, walks up to Kiwia, clutching her stomach in pain. Suddenly, large, thorny vines pop out of her, knock Kiwia out, and destroy Takeru's barricade, alerting them. When Takeru rushes to check on Yoshi, the vines grow into a single flower that summons Haunted, who eventually introduces himself as a Valhalla agent sent to rescue Mari. Since her memory is still fuzzy, Mari doesn't recognize him, but as Haunted slowly walks up to her, Kurogane and his men shoot Haunted from all angles for several seconds. After that, Haunted lets out an awful groan and creates a giant, purple, cubic magical field that traps Takeru's squad, including Mari, inside with him, while leaving Kurogane and the others out. He then approaches Mari and Takeru inside the queue, and starts simping for Mari to take him back as her man. When Takeru stands up to him, Haunted gets jealous and demands to know if Takeru is Mari's new boy toy. Before she can respond, he takes back the question and starts begging her to accept him and let him crack, claiming he'll murder her if she refuses. But Takeru cuts his rant short with an insult. Irritated, Haunted threatens to slaughter Takeru if he doesn't shut up, but Takeru refuses and transforms into his Relic Eater form to fight him. Recognizing him as the Inquisitor who destroyed his Einhur jar, Haunted takes back his threat and begs Takeru to forgive him. However, Takeru refuses to do that and lunges at him, unaware that Haunted was only pretending. Within seconds, Haunted stabs Takeru's chest with his Relic Eater sword, sending him crashing into a wall, and merges with Nak to transform into his Relic Eater form. Meanwhile, Oku and Ikaruga find Usagi knocked out from the chaos earlier, and Ikaruga wakes her up by singing a weird song. After that, Sujetsu's call comes in on Oka's comms, and she accuses him of unlawfully arresting Mari. As proof, she tells him she investigated the crime scene where Mari was arrested earlier and found the slightest trace of necromancer magic. Since Mari can't use such magic, it means she wasn't the one who murdered those innocents, hence her conclusion. Realizing she's right, Sujetsu decides to cut a deal with Oka to avoid getting exposed. Meanwhile, Haunted continues telling Mari to protect herself for what's to come, but Mari crashes out, claiming she doesn't know him. At this, Haunted realizes she's still under his memory loss spell, so he undoes it. As her memory returns, Mari remembers joining an orphanage to teach the little ones there that magic can be used for good, only for Haunted to show up one day, destroy the building, capture the little ones, and coerce her into joining them if she wants them released. At this, Mari breaks down as she blames herself for causing those little ones to die, and apologizes to Takeru for betraying his trust. Haunted then promises to let Takeru and the little ones go if she returns to him, but Takeru calls Cab and tells Mari not to believe him because he and Oka investigated the orphanage and discovered that Haunted had already murdered the little ones. Hearing this, Mari gets really confused, but eventually, Haunted proves Takeru's claims by summoning the undead corpses of the little boys and girls, admits that he murdered them, and promises to let Mari play with their corpses anytime she likes. Devastated, Mari breaks down in agony, and Haunted nearly chokes on happiness. As for Takeru, he tells Mari that although he understands how guilty she must feel, the best way to atone for this is to follow her dreams and devote her entire life to saving even more lives with magic. If it ever gets too painful for her to take, he offers to carry half the burden for her, leaving Mari immensely shocked. With that said, he takes a battle stance and challenges Haunted. Haunted immediately attacks him, but Takeru blocks it and counterattacks him, only for Haunted to push him away. When he tries attacking again, something invisible stabs and stops Takeru in his tracks. Confused, Takeru asks Lapis what's wrong, and together, they analyze the area around them and learn that Haunted has unleashed his hallmark magic, an extended manifestation of invisible slashes around them. Knowing this, Takeru tells Lapis to change his sword's form at his request during the next fight. Then he lunges at Haunted again. When Haunted blocks the first strike, Takeru quickly morphs his weapon into a short sword and stabs him in the stomach. After that, he morphs it into a two-handed sword and continues overpowering Haunted until the useless scumbag throws Yoshi's body at him to distract him before knocking him down. Seeing this, Mari remembers an attack spell one of the nuns at the orphanage taught her and casts it to protect Takeru, despite knowing it will activate the collar around her neck and blow her head off. After Haunted dodges it, she patiently waits for the blinking collar to end her life, but for some reason, the collar deactivates, and Oka shows up, explaining that she managed to blackmail Sujetsu into disarming it. With time running out, Oka tells Mari to save Takeru with her magic. Then she runs off to join the fight and sprinkles some crimson ore on Haunted to irritate him. As she begins the spell, Haunted charges at Oka to murder her, but Osaji comes in clutch and snipes him off his target. By the time Haunted gets back up, Mari finishes her spell and shoots it at Takeru, who absorbs it. Seeing this, Haunted unleashes his hallmark magic and attacks Takeru. But to his surprise, Takeru overpowers his ultimate technique by releasing all of the power Mari absorbed earlier, and blows Haunted out of his relic eater form. Shocked, Haunted asks for Takeru's name, and when he learns that, he recognizes him to be from a clan of demon hunters and disappears. In the aftermath, the magic field disappears, Takeru collapses, and Mari rushes up to him, crying and thanking him for saving her. A month later, Usaji's rich mom summons her and trash talks her terrible grades. When Usagi tries to apologize, her mom shuts her up, tells her that this will be her last month at the academy, and adds that she'll be marrying her off into a richer family, so she can at least prove useful that way. As she gets up to leave, Usagi begs her to reconsider her decision, but her angry mother shrugs her off and leaves. Later that day, Takeru's squad, alongside several other students, gather in the auditorium to hear an announcement about their upcoming witch hunting festival from the newly appointed executive committee chairman, Rima. While it's ongoing, Takeru gets bored and asks Ikaruga who Mr. Goody Two-Shoes is, and she tells him he's a nepo baby who just joined them. Before long, Rima introduces the new currency they'll be spending at the festival, which excites the students, and adds that it can be exchanged for cash and credits. Hearing this, Ikaruga, Mari, and Ochu all shrug this idea off as being materialistic, But Takaru gets so excited that when they return to their office, he immediately draws up a plan to enter the festival. Disappointed, Oka and Marie wonder why Takaru is too invested in the festival, and Ikaruga explains that it's because he needs the money from the currency swap to clear some of the bad debt his late parents left him. Just then, Usagi arrives at the office entrance, but as she's about to walk in, she remembers what her mother told her earlier and considers quitting the squad, believing Takaru doesn't need her. All of a sudden, she overhears the others wondering where she is and melts when they start glazing her. However, the moment Mari tries to give her a nickname, Usagi barges in, trash talks her for doing that, and urges everyone to get back to discussing the Witch Hunt Festival. Just then, a four-eyed Rock Lee wannabe shows up, introduces himself as the captain of a smaller squad, and proposes that his squad and Takaru's squad form an alliance for the upcoming Witch Hunt Festival. And Takaru surprisingly welcomes the idea. Shortly after, Usagi takes a walk to clear her head, but on the way, she bumps into Reima. Terrified, she immediately starts apologizing as her body trembles. But Reima unleashes his Diddy aura and tells her to enjoy her time in the school while it lasts in a gentle and disturbing voice. Hearing this, Usagi falls to her knees, trembling terribly, and Takaru, who happened to be nearby by coincidence, spots them and immediately rushes over to check on Usagi. Seeing him, Reima introduces himself as Usagi's childhood friend, urges Takaru to take care of Usagi for him, and leaves. Afterward, Takaru spots Usagi looking extremely terrified, but as he asks her what's going on, she begs him to help her and faints. Meanwhile, the student council secretary, Sendo, blocks Osio while she strolls the hallway and takes her to a secret room in the library to meet their student council president, Nagaru. After the niceties, Nagaru asks OCU if she knows that the insanely powerful urban legend witch, Mephisto, exists, but OCU assures her that it's just a fairy tale. At this, Nagaru tells Oka that Mephisto possessed one of her subordinates not long ago and made her murder everyone else except her and Sendo, leaving Oka shocked. Around that same time, Takaru, Mari, and Ikaruga all visit Usagi's ward to check on her. After some small talk, Takaru decides to leave, but for some reason, Usagi grabs his shirt, so he decides to stay behind until she wakes up, while Ikaruga and Mari leave. By nightfall, Usagi wakes up to see Takaru sitting beside her and asks if he's been there the entire time. When Takaru confirms that he has, she apologizes for making him wait, but Takaru assures her it's fine and decides to walk her home. Meanwhile, Oka asks Nagaru how she wants her to help, especially now that she's heard everything. In response, Nagaru starts by listing everything the new transfer student, Reima, has accomplished in just 1 month of joining the academy, then asks Oka if she finds it suspicious that he transferred in right after their battle with Haunted, leaving Oka shocked. Meanwhile, Takaru asks Usagi about Reima on their way to his house, but Usagi coldly tells him it's not worth talking about. Hearing this, Takaru tries to sweet-talk her into opening up, but Usagi loses her temper and asks if he'll marry her instead. Realizing he can't, she breaks down in tears and tells him that, as the sole heir of her family, her mother wants her to marry Reima to secure their financial future. She then tells Takaru, with tears in her eyes, that she's already spending her last month in school with them and tries to run away. However, Takaru stops her and urges her to stay at his place for the night. Later on, while taking a shower at Takaru's apartment, Usagi's dirty mind wanders far into Epstein's Island, as she starts imagining Takaru cracking her to stop her mom from moving forward with the marriage. When Takaru returns home, she approaches him with nothing but a towel on, leaving Takaru immensely flustered. As Takaru offers to give her his shirt, Usagi trips into his arms and lets go of her towel, exposing her soft nope jugs. After catching her, Takaru stares deep into her double Ds as his Coctopus Prime gets ready for takeoff, and Usagi tells him, embarrassed, to crack her gently since it's her first time. Unfortunately, as they're about to kiss, Mari, Oka, and Ikaruga walk into the apartment, freeze in shock when they see Takaru holding an unclothed Usagi, and beat him black and blue, thinking he was trying to take advantage of her. Afterward, Takaru tells them everything he knows about Reima, but along the way, Usagi shyly asks Takaru why everyone's at the apartment. In response, Takaru says he invited them all to hold a strategy meeting to help improve her grades to a level her mom would deem acceptable, so she'll continue schooling there, but Usagi doesn't feel comfortable with everyone going that far to help someone as useless as her. As she gets emotional, Takaru reminds her that although she's a bad shooter, she's an important squad member who's saved their lives countless times, which is why they need to save her. The next day, Ikaruga kickstarts her plan to help Usagi out by holding a cosplay show in front of a few thirsty perverts. After making her teammates, including Takeru, dress like modern-day furry prom stars, she urges the thirsty boys to take a keepsake picture of all 5 of them. Hours later, while Oka strolls around campus, thinking back to what Nagaru told her about Reima, she spots a random girl painting a white line on the walkway and demands to know what she's doing. The girl responds, telling her that Reima told her to do it in preparation for the festival, and this makes Oka increasingly suspicious about the guy. Meanwhile, Reima spots Takeru taking out the trash, calls him over, and starts yapping about Usagi spending her last days with them, claiming that she belongs to him. Irritated, Takeru tells the creep that Usagi doesn't belong to anyone, but Reima ignores him and asks who Usagi really is to him. When Takeru says they're comrades, Reima bursts into laughter and assures him that a brother murderer can never have comrades. Enraged, Takeru grabs the scumbag by the shirt and demands that he take back what he just said, but Reima insists that Usagi really did murder her brother. Even so, Takeru vows to save Usagi with everything he has and lets Reima go. Moments later, Oka has Vlad cast a bird's-eye view of the campus, only to discover that the white lines Reima had his subordinates draw earlier were actually fragments of a massive mind control magic circle. Elsewhere, Reima runs into Usagi and threatens to punish her for not going home the previous night. When Usagi refuses to give in to his manipulation, Reima grabs her headband, calls her a murderer, and tells her she can never escape him, leaving her defeated. Meanwhile, Sendo reports to Nagaru that Rima's true identity is Mephisto, and seeks her permission to fight him. Judging by her mannerisms, Nagaru immediately realizes that Sendo's been possessed by Mephisto, so she pulls out her gun and points it at her, causing Sendo to also do the same. At that moment, Takeru and Marie search the school for Usagi while Aka and Sendo barge into Rima's office to arrest him. Unfazed, Rima asks Aka why she's arresting him. However, the moment Oka says it's because she believes he's the real Mephisto, the fake Sendo reveals herself to be the actual Mephisto and trash talks the real Sendo and Nagaru for trying to stop her. As Oka is about to respond, Rima places a talisman on her face, which distracts her, allowing the fake Sendo to grab Oka and transfer Mephisto's spirit into her body. At that moment, Mari's exploding collar gets deactivated, but as she tells Takeru about it, Nagaru calls and tells him Oka is in danger. Meanwhile, as Mephisto adjusts to Oka's body, she tells Rima that she must activate a magic spell soon. Hearing this, Rima crashes out, claiming that wasn't part of their deal and that he transferred schools so she could conquer him the Academy and the Inquisition for him. Irritated, Mephisto grabs Rima by the neck and threatens to snap it if he doesn't pipe down. When Rima demands that she let him go, she reminds him what a loser he was before he met her, then drops him and promises to let him have the Academy once she gets her main body back. Around the same time, Nagaru tells Takeru that Mephisto's real body is currently locked inside the Academy and that she plans to take it by using a magical item to brainwash the students. Hearing this, Takeru crashes out at Nagaru for putting Oko in danger, swears to save her, and hangs up. Afterward, he asks Lapis where Usagi is. When she tells him she's in the Academy's church, he urges Mari to help him lift Rima's mind control spell, so he'll rush to the church to save Usagi. Meanwhile, Usagi recalls the moment her younger self found her elder brother playing with their grandpa's rifle and accidentally shot him while trying to get it off his hands. During the funeral, that sniveling coward Rima walked up to her and demanded that she tell him how she felt while murdering her brother. When she refused, he slapped her and made her property. By then, she wakes up on the church's altar to find Rima climbing over her. Scared, Usagi begs him to stop, but he slaps her, causing her to lie down quietly, and starts taking off his clothes in preparation to defy her. At that point, Usagi stares at the picture she and her teammates took earlier, realizes she now has a place she can call home, and bites Rima's shoulder, causing him to fall off her. Pissed, Rima summons his Relic Eater sword to murder Usagi, but at the last moment, Takeru shows up and slams the idiot into a wall, rescuing Usagi. Afterward, he hugs Usagi, hands her a flash drive containing all the details, and urges her to meet with Ikaruga so she can help Mari undo the spell while he deals with the useless scumbag. Moments later, while Usagi gets ready, Ikaruga hands over her grandpa's rifle, along with 2 special bullets she can use to destroy Mephisto's soul, and warns her to avoid shooting any vital organs so the host's body doesn't die. Not long after, Mari locates the source of Mephisto's mind control spell at a balcony, but as she begins disarming it, Oku runs up to her, acting all concerned about her. Hearing her, Mari immediately clocks her to be the fake Oko, prompting Mephisto to reveal herself and hold her at gunpoint. As she's about to shoot, Usagi grabs and pushes her off the balcony. Upon surviving the fall, Mephisto, still in Oko's body, attaches a talisman to Usagi and runs away. As Usagi tries to follow, the talisman comes to life and causes Usagi to hallucinate. With Usagi distracted, Mephisto returns to Mari and tries to shoot her again. But this time, Takeru shows up in his Relic Eater form and pushes her away. Irritated, Mephisto summons Oka's Relic Eater gun, Vlad, and shoots Takeru out of his Relic Eater form. Pissed, Takeru attacks her with his bare sword, but as she blocks it, Mephisto senses Usagi approaching them and decides to test their bonds. Once she shows up, Mephisto pretends to be Oka and tells Usagi that Takeru is the fake one. At first, Usagi gets confused, but after a brief silence, Takeru tells her to shoot both him and Ochu if she's unsure, claiming that neither of them will die. Scared, fake Oka immediately starts claiming that Takeru is lying. However, as Usagi aims her sniper at both of them, Ocho's soul regains some control over her body, causing Mephisto to lose control, and she begs Usagi to shoot her quickly. Mephisto immediately tries to run, but thankfully, Usagi hits her with the first bullet, exorcising her spirit, then destroys her with the second one. In the aftermath, Mari finally disarms the spell and rushes over to check up on Okyu, who's currently passed out with Takeru and Usagi beside her. Soon after, Ikaruga shows up, holds her hand, realizes she still has a pulse, and assures everyone that she'll be fine with a little rest. A few days later, Sujetsu summons Ikaruga, gives her a document containing a picture of a red crystal called the Lost Matrix, and explains that it's a magical item an infamous magic research corporation, Alchemist, plans to use to create biological weapons. Unfazed, Ikaruga returns the document and tells him they can't succeed since it's missing. Sujetsu then asks if she knows who stole the Lost Matrix, since she was once a genius researcher at Alchemist, but Ikaruga insists she knows nothing and walks away. Meanwhile, Takeru and Usagi check the platoon rankings, only to discover that they've once again placed last. While they wallow in disappointment, Mari shows up and rubs salt on the wound, causing Usagi to crash out. By then, Aksha and Ikaruga join them, and Ikaruga starts spouting nonsense about Takeru being a chick magnet that every girl on their platoon wants to crack, leaving the other ladies embarrassed. Not long after, Takeru and his platoon members return to their office and brainstorm several odd jobs they can take to earn extra credit. Once they're done babbling, Ikaruga packs a few documents and tells everyone she's taking a leave of absence. Then she leaves after pissing everyone off. Afterward, Usagi notices Takeru's concerned looks and asks if he's okay, only for him to tell her that he just finds it odd that Ikaruga, who's never taken a break before, is doing so now. Several hundred miles away, in an advanced research facility, Haunted finds Ikaruga's sister, Isuka, staring and grieving at some failed experiments, admits that a sad look makes her attractive, then asks if he can crack. When Isuka willingly surrenders herself to him, Haunted's schlong goes limp, and he urges her to enjoy life like a human for once. Isuka tells Haunted she's already devoted her life entirely to research, causing him to change topics and ask her why she betrayed Alchemist, the organization she once worked for, to join them. As Isuka explains to the airheaded Nimrod that it's because Alchemist severely restricted her creativity, she gets a bad headache. Concerned, Haunted asks to ensure she's fine, and Isuka tells him that her sister, Ikaruga, just leaked her information about the stolen Lost Matrix. Around the same time, Takeru and the others stalk Ikaruga on the street and spot her disappearing down into the sewers through a manhole. They immediately rush out to follow her, but given how vast and dangerous the city's sewer system is, Takeru ends up relying on Lapis to help them track Ikaruga. Meanwhile, Ikaruga hops on a call with Isuka to tell her she's on her way to deliver the Lost Matrix to her, and also remind her to keep her end of the deal. Just then, Isuka asks Ikaruga why she stole the Lost Matrix 4 years ago, but Ikaruga gives her vague answers and just hangs up the phone, only to run into 2 guards up front. Back on the surface, several armed guards fire heavy rounds at Takeru and the others, causing them to run for dear life. Not long after, they find Ikaruga passed out in front of 2 guards, so they take them down, and Takeru carries Ikaruga to safety, leaving the others behind. When Ikaruga wakes up, Takeru tells her he'll be going back for the others, but as Ikaruga warns him against that, a Dragoon missile hits them and injures him in the process. Seeing this, Ikaruga carries Takeru to her safe house against his wishes. On the way, Ikaruga calls Isuka, apologizes for the misunderstanding, introduces the troublemakers as her acquaintances, and threatens to call off the deal if any of them are hurt. Around the same time, Sujetsu gets on a call with the senior manager of Alchemist to find out if they're the ones behind the attack. As usual, she denies ever getting involved and claims it's a rogue fifth research facility of theirs that's spearheading everything. Hearing this, Sujetsu tells her that he'll be going to war with this fifth research facility just to see her reaction. To his surprise, the senior manager gives him her blessing to knock him dead. So Sujetsu hangs up and phones Kurogane to gather all available witch hunters and knights to go to war. Meanwhile, Oka, Mari, and Usagi all chill out in Isuka's prison, strip down, and discuss the rumors they've heard about Alchemist trying to resurrect the Dark Elves. While Oka dismisses the whole thing as a farce, Isuka suddenly shows up, introduces herself as Ikaruga's sister, and wonders if they're truly Ikaruga's friends or her pawns. Pissed, Usagi tells her she knows Ikaruga better than her, but Isuka assures them that the real Ikaruga is only interested in things that stick out and sees no value in being normal. When Usagi still doesn't believe her, Isuka decides to tell them about their childhood. It all began when little Isuka and Ikaruga were still working as genius researchers at Alchemist, and ran up to two scientists to boast about inventing a mind-controlled gas that makes people murder each other, creeping them out. Moments later, while lazing around, little Ikaruga reads a book about motherhood, which she stole from one of their samples, and starts asking Isuka very weird questions about love and being a mother. Since that's prohibited, Isuka urges her to throw it away before the guards see it, but Ikaruga refuses and tells Isuka that she feels too cramped waking up and working in the lab every day. Not long after, Ikaruga visits a stasis pod containing another failed Dark Elf experiment. Instead of following protocol and disposing of the living elven baby, she takes it back to their room. Isuka is pissed when she sees this, because she knows Ikaruga will definitely be kicked out if the higher-ups find out, so she has Ikaruga return it to its holding cell first. There, Ikaruga tries to bring herself to dispose of it like she normally would, but when the baby calls her mama, she melts and decides to keep it. Later that night, she packs all her stuff and steals the lost matrix. But as she sneaks out of the room, Isuka wakes up and begs her to stay with her, as they both need each other. Realizing she's right, Ikaruga begs Isuka to run away with her. But before she responds, the facility's alarm blares on, claiming that the lost matrix has been stolen, and Ikaruga immediately rushes to the elven baby's cell to pick him up, only to see that it's been destroyed. Unfazed, she cuts her losses and escapes to the academy, leaving Isuka behind. Back in the present, Ikaruga finishes telling Takeru the same story and condemns herself for being a researcher with no good moral compass. Hearing this, Takeru asks why she came to the border to cut a deal with her sister, when she found out they were planning to resurrect the Dark Elves. Curious, Ikaruga asks what he'll do if he told her. When Takeru says he'll help her, she gets so relaxed that she climbs on top of Takeru's staff and removes her clothes for a quick nookie. Shocked, Takeru tells her that impromptu plot sessions aren't exactly a fun thing to do, but Ikaruga says that since they're both virgins like you, taking each other's V cards would be the best way to experience their first time before they say goodbye. Hearing this, Takeru asks what she means by goodbye. However, before she can respond, alchemist choppers arrive outside their safe house, causing Ikaruga to abandon the conversation, kiss Takeru deeply, inject him with a paralyzing agent, and head outside to meet Isuka. Not long after, one of Isuka's trucks dumps Oka, Usagi, and Mari somewhere random and drives off. When they get back up, Usagi tells Okyu that she'll be going back to the facility to rescue Ikaruga, because she suspects Ikaruga negotiated their release with the Lost Matrix. Hearing this, Oka asks her if she still trusts Ikaruga, especially after learning about her past. But Usagi assures her that she doesn't care about her past and will go to any length to ensure Ikaruga is back with them, safe and sound. Impressed, Oka respects her conviction and decides to help her save her friend. Just then, the Academy's dragoons swoop past them, and Sujetsu's limo pulls up beside them seconds later. Sujetsu steps out and demands to know what they're doing there, but Oka deflects the question and asks him what's going on. Sujetsu tells her they're going to war with Isuka, then asks where Ikaruga and Takeru are. When Oka says she doesn't know, he sighs, gives them access to the weapons in his trunk, and permits them to fight alongside the Academy with their relic eaters to bring down the rogue facility. Meanwhile, Takeru pops out of a dark alleyway, still struggling to move, so he quickly transforms into his relic eater form and joins the Inquisition in battle. As he takes down some enemy mechas, Takeru asks Lapis to track down Ikaruga and the Elf Research Facility, and Lapis narrows their location down to the top floor of the futuristic tower in front of them. Seeing how high it is, Takaru asks if Lapis can fly him there, but Lapis says she can only glide there after making a high jump and activates the jet boosters on his suit. Meanwhile, Sujetsu approaches a few enemy dragoons and deactivates them all in a single strike with his Relic Eater shotgun, Innocentius. As Takaru continues fighting off the enemy dragoons, Oka shows up to help him out, and Usagi and Mari radio in to tell him they're at a vantage point, providing sniper cover. Oka then tells Takaru that the Inquisitors will arrest Ikaruga if they find out that she took part in Alchemist's Dark Elf experiments. To prevent that from happening, she tells Takaru they must get to her first, prompting Takaru to immediately infiltrate the building. Meanwhile, Isuka meets Ikaruga in her lab, crashes out at her for abandoning her 4 years ago and slowing down her progress, and asks why she betrayed her. Unfazed, Ikaruga tells her she just wanted to explore the world that the book showcased to her. Pissed, Isuka grabs her own head and tells Ikaruga that ever since she left, the higher-ups altered her genetic makeup to make sure that whenever she feels any unnecessary emotions, intense pain shoots through her brain. Confused, Ikaruga asks her why they did that, but Isuka shuts her up, tells her that Valhalla is willing to take her in and cure her if she successfully resurrects a Dark Elf, and demands that she hand over the Lost Matrix. At this, Ikaruga tells her she can't do that, because she initially came there to stop the resurrection of elves and save her. Isuka immediately bursts out laughing, but Ikaruga apologizes for leaving her behind 4 years ago, holds her dear sister, and begs her to follow her to paradise. However, Isuka angrily pushes her away, claiming she doesn't need her anymore, and swears to destroy everything to save herself. When Ikaruga refuses to let that happen, Isuka shoots her in the leg and tells her one more time to surrender the Lost Matrix. At this point, Ikaruga opens her shirt, revealing the Lost Matrix embedded on top of her melons, and transforms herself into a Dark Elf, leaving Isuka shocked. To test her new powers, Ikaruga creates a small ball of antimatter and moves closer to Isuka, hoping to fix her with it. Sadly, before she gets there, Haunted suddenly shows up and stabs Isuka on the chest. Pissed, Ikaruga lunges at Haunted and attacks him with her antimatter ball. But when he blocks it, the recoil triggers an explosion that blows off the building's top floor. In the aftermath, Ikaruga holds Isuka and does her best to save her. But it's already too late, as her Dark Elf powers give out. In her final moments, Isuka tells Ikaruga to live on, as the elf she saved back then is still alive and well with Alchemist, and dies shortly. Just then, Haunted shows up and invites Ikaruga to join him and continue Isuka's research. When Ikaruga shoots him in the head to tell him no, Haunted summons a huge mechanical wyvern to take care of her, and disappears. Before long, Takaru sees the wyvern, so he jumps up to the top floor, grabs Ikaruga, and soon learns from Ikaruga that they can defeat the wyvern by shooting its weak spot. As the wyvern starts spitting fire everywhere, Oka and Takaru attack it to hold it down, while Ikaruga has Usagi man the facility's in-situ anti-ballistic rail cannon so she can shoot down the wyvern's spine while it's distracted and destroy it. With only 5 shots available, Usagi gets really nervous and misses her first 2 shots. But on the 3rd shot, she successfully lands a hit, only for them to realize that it wasn't enough. With the spinal core exposed, the wyvern knocks Oko out, prompting Takaru to jump on it. While he tries to stab it, his Relic Eater suit suddenly runs out of mana, leaving Takaru useless. Thankfully, as he's about to give up, Mari gives him a bunch of her mana, which Takaru uses to power his suit and destroy the core and the wyvern with his final attack. A few hours later, Takaru finds Ikaruga chilling outside their mobile recovery station and checks up on her. Feeling sorry for her, he pats her head and urges her to confide in them more, causing Ikaruga to shed a tear as she grieves her sister's death. A few days later, Ikaruga gathers everyone and tells them that the Academy is planning an undercover operation to bust an illegal magic artifact trade taking place that night. As Usagi and OCHU suggest going undercover to catch the criminal and earn some quick credit, Ikaruga tells them they're not qualified for the job. Pissed, Oka takes the assignment anyway to prove to Ikaruga that they're competent, only to realize later that night that they're going to play dress-up and infiltrate a strip club. To blend in, Usagi and Mari introduce themselves to 3 Diddy and Epstein disciples, while Osha, who feels very uncomfortable dealing with moronic men, sheepishly introduces herself. Just then, one of the men compliments her massive milk jugs, but instead of just chuckling, Aka crashes out at him. Luckily, before she blows her cover, Takaru shows up dressed like a server and handles things so professionally that even the girls are shocked. Soon after, they all spot a man at table 4 with a small, wrapped object, talking to a girl, and Oku immediately sits near him. Seconds later, the man gets drunk and, while begging his bored lady to let him hit, accidentally touches Oku's vanilla dump truck. Almost instantly, she crashes out, punches him, and shoots his gift with live rounds, immediately blowing their cover. At that point, Takeru and the others rush in to arrest the man, thinking he's their guy, only for them to find out that the small object he wrapped was actually a handheld Nintendo console. After a brief silence, another man holding a weird ring nearby freaks out and tries to run away, but Takeru and his team wrestle them to the ground. Moments later, when they return to the office, Oka apologizes for sabotaging the mission, but the others brush it off and gather around Ikaruga's desk to examine the strange ring the other man was carrying. When they discover it's a silver ring infused with weak seductive magic, they're severely disappointed. Ikaruga then calls Ochu out for causing this and decides to test the ring herself. Suddenly, the other girls snatch the ring from her, and while Mari and Usagi fight for it, it slips out. Takeru then tries to catch it, but the ring suddenly glows and fits on one of his fingers. Almost instantly, the room glows pink and turns the girls into freaky hoes, desperately craving his meat stick. After escaping Usagi, Takeru runs into Mari, who starts crying over her flat-chested curse, and does his best to keep her from removing her shirt. He then tries to run away, but Oka suddenly pins him to the ground and licks him like he's the next best thing after sliced bread. Embarrassed, Takeru slips out and approaches Ikaruga, thinking she's sober, only for the lewd pervert to end up throwing up on him. The following day, Takeru and his platoon members ride the bus to get to a local beach and help them investigate why their region is magically stuck in summer weather, even though other regions have already moved into another season. When they get there, Mari changes into her swimsuit and plays in the water, while Ochu investigates the beach's sand for any signs of magical manipulation. Just then, Usagi walks out in her tight swimsuit and rushes towards the water with her massive knockers, testing the laws of jiggle physics. Oku immediately screams at her to take things easy, but Ikaruga soon gets fed up with her whining and makes her wear a nice swimsuit to also blend in. Over the next few hours, Takeru and his girls have fun playing all sorts of beach games, until Ikaruga gets tired and lies under her umbrella. Meanwhile, Takeru and the others settle in for some cheap ramen lunch, but Takeru eats some shaved ice and gets a brain freeze. Minutes later, as the girls go to the freezer to buy some cold dessert, Takeru gets an upset stomach and rushes to the bathroom to take a dump. Lapis immediately tries to follow them in, but Usagi and Mari stop her. Just then, Oka spots two lifeguards carrying an unconscious man on a stretcher and learns that he was attacked by a giant monster and nearly died. At this, Lapis immediately concludes that the giant magical creature, known as the Inviter of Sumer, is responsible for the everlasting summer on the beach. Seeing this, they all decide to take a swim to investigate the monster. However, since Ocha can't swim and Ikaruga's still too tired, Usagi and Mari have Lapis tie them to a fishing pole and drop them in the water as bait for the sea monster. Before long, the monster wraps its tentacles around Usagi and Mari's but cracks underwater and massages the passage between their legs, causing them to scream for dear life. Lapis immediately tries to bring them back up, but unfortunately, the fishing line snaps, and the sea monster submerges Usagi and Mari. At that moment, Takeru rushes out of the bathroom a free man, transforms into relic eater form, and dives into the water to help them, only to end up sinking to the sea floor due to his armor's weight. Seeing him, Usagi and Mari crash out at him for fumbling everything, but eventually, Takeru transforms his sword into a fishing rod and throws some bait into the sea monster's mouth, causing it to release Usagi and Mari from its tentacles. With that settled, Oshu deactivates Mari's anti-magic collar, and she creates an aurora field that splits the sea and exposes the monster. Seizing the opportunity, Takeru and Usagi slaughter the sea monster and throw it ashore, completing their mission. Later that evening, as they prepare to leave for the academy, Oka buys Usagi, Mari, and Lapis each a popsicle treat and thanks them for completing the mission. A few weeks later, Takeru visits the academy's maximum security prison to see his little sister, Kiseki. After exchanging pleasantries, Kiseki compliments Takeru's handsome face and asks how school has been. Takeru tells her about the troublemakers in his platoon, but for some reason, Kiseki asks about the girl he mentioned with the nice hair and gets a little jealous when he admits that he admires her. Even so, she forces a smile and tells Takeru how happy she is to see him living his life. But deep down, Takeru knows she's capping because, given the condition she's in, she can't possibly be happy. As he promises to give her a normal life someday, their time runs out, and the supervisor asks Takeru to leave. Later that night, Usagi aims her sniper down at a car speeding on the busy city roads and shoots out the tires. Once the car crashes, the two criminals inside steal a motorcycle nearby and ride it at full speed to escape Oka as she chases after them on her motorbike. As she closes in on them, they immediately boost their bike speed with an instant speed spell and zoom past her, only for Oka to catch up to them just seconds after, all thanks to Ikaruga's special bike. After luring the Nimrods into an alleyway, Oka radios Takeru to take it from there. At that point, Takeru appears in front of the criminals while they're still on the bike, destroys the bike, and captures them. The next day, while Usagi and Ikaruga check the notice board for the extra credit they earned for completing the mission, Okyu approaches Takeru, looking a bit worried about the bags under his eyes. She checks his forehead for a fever, realizes he's fine, and shyly assures him that he can rely on her if he ever runs into trouble, leaving Takeru touched. Later on, Takeru spots Kyuya walking with Sojetsu in the hallway, recalls what happened to Yoshi, and tries to ask Kyuya what happened to Yoshi, only for Kyuya to call him a traitor and leave. Before long, Sujetsu arrives at the Academy's control room overseeing Kiseki's cage and vitals, along with Kiyoya, and checks on things to make sure that Kiseki is being kept under severe monitoring while she's asleep. When Kiseki eventually wakes up, Sujetsu explains to Kurogane, who's confused about why she's considered so dangerous, that Kiseki's powers are so peculiar and overwhelming that anything they touch after leaving her body is converted into a part of her. In other words, if she's left unchecked, her demonic powers will eventually corrode and consume the entire planet. Because of this, Sujetsu confesses that they must constantly murder her to force her to use those powers, so that they can destroy them before she grows too strong to control. Once Kiseki regains her senses, she hallucinates and sees Takeru leaving her for another girl. Devastated, she loses her composure, breaks down in tears, and goes berserk. Seeing this, the entire prison is placed on lockdown to alert everyone, and Kurogane willingly enters Kiseki's containment cell to fight her true, grotesque form. Elsewhere, Oka radios her colleagues while stalking a group of criminal wizards through the streets, dressed like a high-class hooker, and urges them to be ready when the suspects arrive. Before long, the criminals show up and walk past Mari and Usagi, who are dressed in lewd costumes and handing out flyers. Mari tries to hand one of them a flyer, but the moment they take it, the criminals realize who they are and open fire. Mari immediately creates an aurora field, but even after blocking the bullets, the shell casings transform into giant mandragoras and the criminals escape. While the girls battle the vine monsters, Takeru drops his disguise and chases the criminals into a dark alley. However, as soon as he gets there, something devours both criminals, leaving him shocked. Just then, Kiseki walks out of the dark alleyway and approaches him, looking exhausted but happy to see him. Shocked, Takeru quickly catches her and asks why she's there. As Kiseki says she just wanted to see him, Ocha and the others arrive and ask who the girl is. Alarmed, Takeru points his sword at them and tells them to stay back. However, after Oka talks some sense into him, he calms down, apologizes, and reveals that Kiseki is his extremely dangerous little sister, who broke out of the Academy's max security prison just to see him, leaving them shocked. Moments later, Kiseki wakes up in a safe house with Takeru by her side and apologizes for murdering people again. While Takeru pets her, Okyu walks in and introduces herself, but the poor girl shyly hides behind her brother, prompting Takeru to apologize on her behalf. Understanding her plight, Aka invites Takeru outside to explain the situation. There, he tells everyone that Kiseki is a dangerous entity who slaughtered many people back in their hometown. As the others gasp in shock, Takeru assures them that Kiseki is normally well-behaved and is only dangerous because she can't control her powers. Hearing this, Ikaruga takes over and explains to the others that Kiseki suffers from overflow syndrome, a genetic disorder that causes witches to constantly lose control of their powers and go berserk. She also reassures everyone that, since Kiseki used up a massive amount of mana escaping from prison, they should be safe for now. With that settled, Oka asks what they should do next, but as Takeru considers turning Kiseki over to the Inquisition for everyone's safety, Oka reveals that she intentionally disabled their communications and cell phones to buy Takeru and Kiseki about an hour to spend together as siblings. Impressed, Ikaruga and Usagi praise Okyu for being unusually thoughtful, while Mari, on the other hand, annoys Okyu as usual. Shortly afterward, they call Kiseki into the living room, tell her she and Takeru will be going on a sibling date, and have her try on several cute disguises they bought for her beforehand. Later that evening, while Takeru and Kiseki relax at a cafe, Kiseki compliments his platoon members for treating her like a human being despite knowing how dangerous she is. She then asks Takeru whether he thinks Okada is pretty. When he casually says she's decent, Kiseki suddenly asks if he can murder her, as she fears she will one day go berserk again and murder more people than she did 5 years ago. After a brief silence, Takeru tells her he can't do that because he still wants her to live as his sister. As Kiseki tears up, Takeru promises that if the day ever comes when he has to murder her, he'll die alongside her. Until then, he begs Kiseki to keep holding on until she reaches her limit, and she promises that she will. A few hundred miles away, in a lone forest cabin, a Valhalla leader, Orochi, meets with his partner, Watari, to inform them that the target they were supposed to rescue just broke out of the academy prison. Hearing this, Watari immediately suggests attacking the academy, but Orochi tells her to get her head out of the clouds, as they've now been ordered to capture Kiseki. Meanwhile, Takeru and Kiseki are just about to ride the Ferris wheel, when Kiyoya suddenly shows up along with Yoshi and transforms into his Relic Eater form to capture Kiseki. Sensing the danger, Takeru transforms into his Relic Eater mode and attacks Kiyoya, who's extremely shocked that he has a Relic Eater. Takeru explains that Sujetsu already saw the potential in him, but as they argue mid-clash, Yoshi reveals herself to be Nero, Kiyoya's Relic Eater. Thankfully, before their battle escalates beyond control, Kurogane shows up, stops the fight, and promises to punish them appropriately for fighting in a civilian area. At this, Takeru powers down, walks over to Kiseki, and apologizes for not being able to protect her again. However, Kiseki hugs him tightly, urges him not to forget their promise, and passes out. Just then, Sujetsu shows up, informs Takeru that Kiseki has just been injected with a sedative, and sentences him to a week in solitary confinement for sheltering her. Unfazed, Takeru asks Sujetsu about his plans for Kiseki, and Sujetsu assures him that although she'll be transferred to another facility in a few hours, Alchemist might be able to suppress her powers, leaving Takeru hopeful. A few hours later, while Sujetsu's men transport Kiseki to the facility, Watari attacks one of the Academy's decoy planes and breaks into the cockpit, only to realize that Kiseki isn't there. Immediately after, Kurogane and Kiyo, who are on the road transporting Kiseki, are informed about the attack, but they continue traveling at that pace to the facility. Just then, Kiyo gets cocky and asks Kurogane if he's truly on humanity's or the heretic side. Kurogane asks why he's asking such an absurd question, but when Kiyoya starts rambling and telling him not to get in the way of his revenge against the heretics, Kurogane just ignores him. Suddenly, their vehicle is attacked and brought to a stop by Valhalla's dragoons, so Kurogane and Kiyoya step outside to take them down. Meanwhile, Takeru dreams about the first time he met Kiseki, locked in their family storehouse, and learned from his father that she is his little sister. That day, his father explained to him that all girls born in Takeru's lineage are demons, and that for generations, it's been a tradition to murder them as soon as they're born to prevent them from maturing. Unfortunately, Kiseki was born immortal, making it impossible to murder her for good. A few months later, young Takeru found his father bleeding profusely on the ground, handing him his katana and urging him to slaughter Kiseki before dying. Takeru picked up the blade and approached Kiseki in her demon form to murder her, but since he lacked the resolve to murder his own sister, he chickened out and saw her fall off the cliff and go berserk. At that point, Takeru wakes up in his cell, and Oka, who's in the other cell, calls him and apologizes for causing everything. Takeru tells her not to blame herself because he knows she was trying to help. After that, he asks why she went that far for him. In response, Oka tells him she wanted to share some of his burden because she feels indebted to him for helping her find peace and tranquility in engaging in the platoon's activities. For someone like her, who's lived her life solely for revenge, finding peace in something mundane makes her happy, and it's all thanks to Takeru. As Takeru thanks her for the kind words, Nagaru suddenly shows up and breaks them out of solitary confinement. On the way outside, she tells Takeru that the vehicle transporting his sister was attacked by Valhalla, and urges him to head to the scene at once. Takeru immediately busts out of the prison and finds Useiji, Mari, and Ikaruga, all waiting for him to lead them to their next mission. Around the same time, Orochi appears before Kurogane and Kiyoya and introduces himself, as they finish taking out Valhalla's dragoons. Seeing him, Kurogane immediately instructs Kiyoya to continue driving Kiseki's transport vehicle to the facility while he stays back to fight Orochi. After Kiyoya leaves, Orochi asks Kurogane if he's sure he can handle him without faltering, but Kurogane ignores him and summons his hybrid gun Relic Eater to fight him. Not long after driving off, Kiyoya stops the transport vehicle, approaches Kiseki's containment in his relic eater form, and aims his gun at her. Thankfully, before he shoots, Takaru shows up and calls him out for being so callous. Unfazed, Kiyoya tells him he just wants to eliminate all heretics, and his relic eater, Nero, encourages him to hate heretics more. Seeing this, Takaru tries telling Kiyoya that Nero is only filling his mind with hate, but to shut him up, Kiyoya attacks him. After dodging several of his shots, Takaru lunges at Kiyoya, slices through his bullets, destroys his gun, and knocks him down. Before long, Kiyoya gets back up and tries to shoot Takaru again, but this time, Ochu shoots him out of his relic eater form. Realizing he's lost, Kiyoya jumps off the bridge, and Takaru quickly rushes into the vehicle to carry Kiseki out of her restraints. As he takes her outside, Kiseki's demonic form slowly manifests, putting her in a world of hurt. But as she begs him to put her out of her misery, Haunted shows up and stabs Takaru before asking Kiseki to join them. Seeing this, Kiseki fears that her brother is dead, so she goes berserk, extends a massive, disgusting mass of grotesque demon flesh out of her body, and starts destroying everything around her. Meanwhile, Sojetsu meets with the CEO of Alchemist, Suzaku, on a rooftop, revealing that he only allowed Kiseki to transform this far just to let her see how dangerous she is. When she offers to help destroy Kiseki's demons, Sojetsu urges her to stay put and watch Takaru do that for them. Back on the street, Oka arrives on the scene to find Takaru still stabbed and suspended in midair, while Haunted runs his dirty mouth like the inconsolable scumbag that he is. Frustrated, she demands that he hand over Takaru, but when Haunted refuses, she summons Vlad and immediately starts shooting him. After blocking all her shots, Haunted fights Okyu in close range to stop her from using Vlad against him, and ends up stabbing her. Unfazed, Oka heals herself and asks Vlad to form a contract with her. Shocked, Vlad asks why she's bringing this up now when she's always used him only as a temporary means to pursue her revenge. While fending off Kiseki's demonic tentacles, Oka tells Vlad that she's changed her mind because she's realized that Takaru and the others are worth giving everything for. Swooned by her speech, Vlad forms the contract and covers her entire body in relic eater armor, just like Takaru. After that, she surprise attacks Haunted, but he blocks the attack, transforms into his relic eater form, and counterattacks her for several seconds. At one point in the attack, Okyu spots an opening in Haunted's defense, so she transforms her gun into a plasma sword and stabs Haunted right through the chest, knocking him out. Afterward, she rushes to pick up Takaru, but as Kiseki's demonic tentacles chase after her, Ikaruga, Oosaji, and Mari all pull up in a black van, pick her up, and drive off. On the way, Ikaruga explains to the others that although Takaru is the only person capable of ending her, they need to keep destroying the disgusting mass of flesh that's coming out of her body until her anger dies down or they're all cooked. Just then, Kiseki's demons capsize their van, but almost immediately they jump out, set up a barrier, and shoot down all the tentacles trying to attack them as they wait for Takaru to wake up. While they're at it, Ikaruga tells everyone that even if Takaru comes to, he might be forced to murder his sister to save the world. So to prevent that from happening, Oka transforms into her relic eater form, destroys a bunch of the demonic tentacles, and approaches Kiseki's main body. Around the same time, Takaru relives that single moment 5 years ago, where he hesitated to murder his sister and deeply regrets not being able to decide whether to protect or murder her. As he's about to give up, Lapis suddenly appears in his subconscious and offers to grant him all of her powers if he can abandon his humanity and surrender his soul to her. Hearing this, Takaru recalls all the wonderful memories he's made with his new platoon, and ultimately decides to sell his soul for power. At this, Lapis kisses him to seal the deal, upgrades his relic eater armor into God Hunter mode, and wakes him up. Meanwhile, Kiseki's demons rage at Oku as she approaches them and attacks her against Kiseki's wishes, but Oku destroys them. As she's about to head back to Ikaruga and the others, several flying demons surround her. Even so, she destroys all of them in a single explosion while Ikaruga and the others keep fighting. Just then, Takaru steps out of the van, his armor glowing like blue, and sucks out all the mana Oka has left, reverting her to her normal form. Then, he apologizes to the others, urges them to take care of Oka, and tells them that he has to handle his sister alone. Hearing this, Oka begs him to avoid murdering his sister at all costs, because it will hunt him forever. But Takaru tells her that he can't listen to her at that moment, apologizes to the others, who all beg him not to leave, and leaves anyway. Seconds later, he locates Kiseki's main body, but before he can touch her, Haunted shows up in his relic eater form and rage baits him. Irritated, Takaru attacks him to get him out of his way, But while Haunted defends himself, Kiseki's demons try to convince her that Takeru will die, so she'll go berserk again. Seeing this, Takeru laments over his past mistakes and expresses the insane regret he still feels for being indecisive back then, pissing Haunted off. As he swears to stay true to his desires this time, Haunted attacks him out of anger. But Takeru blocks it and tells Kiseki that he will save her and return to his friends in one piece. At this, Kiseki's demons riot against his decision, claiming that they want both he and Kiseki to perish together. But since Kiseki is clearly against this causes an internal struggle between her mind and the demons. As for Haunted, he continues attacking Takeru and promises to murder him first, then his sister after she's destroyed the world. As the tension rises, Kiseki's demons slowly start breaking down, and Takeru quickly takes Haunted down with his ultimate technique. With Haunted down, he rushes into Kiseki's demons, grabs her hand, and hugs her, causing the disgusting demon mass to disappear. Realizing they've lost, Orochi has a final meeting with Sujetsu, who welcomes him back after being MIA for 150 years, and tells him a war is coming. As for Takeru, he returns to his girls with his sister and tells them that although he didn't truly save Kiseki this time, he'll stop at nothing to find a cure for her. Hearing this, the girls all troll him for being a worrywart and urge him to share his burden with them next time. This brings us to the end of the video. What do you think happens next for Takeru and his squad? Let us know in the comments below.